Hello, everybody. Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some absolute madness that's been going on regarding this Toronto Raptors team, specifically in regards to Kevin Durant and all the reports that have been circulating over the past couple of days. And recently it just dropped from a Suns insider that revealed just the package that apparently the Raptors are going to be putting together to make a deal go down for KD, because frankly, this is absolutely absurd. So we have a lot of stuff to break down. People are in the chat already saying what's going on, what's happening with the squad. Essentially, Kevin Durant, as we know, we've been talking about it to death out here on the channel. It's the wrong button we're pressing, but basically, Kevin Durant has been on the market by the Phoenix Suns. He's been put out there in trade discussions and all these different talks and all these different reports and everything that's coming out. And frankly, the Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, he's been hustling. He's been after a big fish, and he's willing to go all out in terms of making these deals go down. And I'm looking at the chat. People are saying overreacted, over this stuff. Fellas, I know all these people out here are like, Ben, you're making stuff up here. I literally report what's coming out. What comes out by the insiders, by the reporters, I aggregate, I put together, I react, give you guys context, and break it all down. That's what I'm doing. That's what my job is here out on YouTube. And frankly, the updates we got over the past hour forced me to go live, and I want to go back and forth. I want to hear what people have to say about everything that's going on. This changes everything, as DB is saying. It's the motto out here on the channel. So let's take a look at what is going on, everything that is happening with Kevin Durant and the quest for KD and everything that's going on here now at this point. Also, the little subscriber goal. Let's even get to 37,900 out here today as we get going, because frankly, we've been stuck in the mud a little bit. The Raptors not making some moves, not making some stuff. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Appreciate everyone, coming out here. So let's dive in. Let's cook up. Let's see what is happening in regards to this KD situation. So let's start from the jump. So basically, this is the big reports that came from John Gabino, and essentially he came out and went on a tirade about how he hates so John Gabadoro, I've done some coverage out there on the Suns. We have a Suns Digest channel out here on the network. This guy has been pretty tuned in with everything regarding the KD situation over the past couple months, and he came out and essentially did a little tirade. I summarized the report a little bit out here on the channel, saying that I hate the Toronto deal of RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley with Jakob Poeltl and that 9th pick. That's what I do like. He talked about just roasting Immanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, which I'll get to, because I'm trying to start a movement out here on the channel. I really want to come out and make it known to keep RJ Barrett, out here on this team going forward in the future. Again, for a superstar, it is what it is, but we'll talk about different scenarios as this stream ends up going along. But basically, this is the summary in terms of this big 10-minute spiel that has come out here. And Evan Siderity gave a big sort of breakdown of this report, a big breakdown in terms of everything that's going on. And let me get these scenes back together. And that's why I was a little bit late coming out here, because frankly, I'm not great at tech anymore. I'm washed on these streams. There we go. We got the chat back rolling. But basically, the Toronto Raptors are indeed offering the number 9 overall pick for Kevin Durant. The Toronto Raptors are willing to move on from Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett or Immanuel Quickley alongside the top 10 selection to secure Kevin Durant. So that is the new buzz. That is the new discussion. That is the new discourse that has popped out, and frankly has me fired up out here on the channel. This is the big sort of update that we have beyond some of these other ones that have come out in terms of backup plans, which we'll talk about on stream. I want to go back and forth and discuss, but basically, the Toronto Raptors are coming out and apparently willing to offer the number 9 overall selection, Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl out there in the mix. And this makes sense in terms of what the Suns have been asking for a Kevin Durant trade. They want, if KD is going out, they want a center, they want a guard, and they want some draft capital. That's what is happening. People are saying it's fake. People are saying this, and we'll talk about some of the discourse, because there has been a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter about the Toronto Raptors being used as essentially a means for other teams to leverage themselves out there in these trade negotiations. Josh Loomberg gave a bit of context to this. We know Masai Ujiri has been very good at making trades, making this, making that. But there are two sides to this coin, which we will discuss. But the Suns aren't getting the packages that they want from the 3 teams that Kevin Durant has made it known he wants to go to: the San Antonio Spurs, the Miami Heat, as well as the Houston Rockets. So what's going on here? Well, these bidding wars, these asking prices that are coming out, the Suns want serious deals back. And essentially the Rockets are offering a pretty good one with Jalen Green and these different types of packages, these different types of pieces. But the Suns want, Matt Ishbia has said this entire past couple months, he wants equal value to what he gave out for Kevin Durant if they're going to trade him again. So that is what Matt Ishbia is saying. There's no world that that's going to be the case with Kevin Durant being a guy that is now 30, going to be 37 years old next season, averaging 27 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Yes, he's putting up phenomenal stats, but he's, a few years older now at this point. He's still extremely efficient, and in the short term will immediately help a team, but doesn't have the same value he should have 2 years ago, where the Suns gave up Mikal Bridges, they gave up Cam Johnson, and they gave up a plethora. I think like 5 first-round picks, a swap out there. It was a serious haul that they gave away for Kevin Durant. Matt Ishbia wants, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, wants that type of haul in return. They aren't going to get it. That's why we heard trade talks, trade percolations happening 2 months ago. No one was interested. No one wanted to make that deal happen there at that point. And then now basically, we heard a week and a half ago, once all these rumors started to circulate again, that the Suns had lowered their asking price. They didn't take it down completely from where we were at the beginning, but they lowered their asking price a little bit. They aren't happy with the deals that are coming from the Heat, Spurs, as well as the Houston Rockets, and the Raptors and the Minnesota Timberwolves are now the team that KD does not want to go to, but are being used for essentially leverage here now at this point. And this is where things start to get very, very interesting in terms of everything that is on the go for this team. So basically, in terms of these packages, in terms of these deals that are going on here now at this point, we have these on the table. So first things first, and this is the first thing I want to talk about with you guys, the chat, interact, see what people are saying out here at this point. And I'm reading the chat. What's up, Vintage Pimpage? I don't want to trade Scottie Barnes for KD. I know you want to trade Scottie Barnes for nothing, but we can't trade him for KD. But in your opinion, down below, let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the chat here right now, okay? Let me know in the chat here right now. Would you rather, if it's going to be a Jakob Poeltl 9th pick, and Immanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett deal, would you rather Immanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett in that trade package? Would you rather put in who you'd rather trade out, Immanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett, out there in the mix? I want to see what people are saying. I'll throw it out there on Twitter too. I'm throwing a poll up on Twitter. We'll get the results from the poll on Twitter. Follow Raptors Digest on Twitter right now if you haven't, folks. I used to be this whole company started with me being a little Twitter degenerate at 14, yapping out there before sports Twitter was a thing. Got off it for a few years because, frankly, I got sick of it, but now I'm back in the mix. I'm back in the weeds. We got a couple interns helping out with it. So who would you rather see in a KD deal? Who would you rather see out there in a KD, or X.com, whatever people use, whatever people's name is? Who would you rather be in a see in a trade in a KD package? Follow us on Twitter. We need to get this stuff back and rolling, okay? We got to get this back and rolling. IQ. I'm spelling stuff wrong. We got this stuff going. I'll have a look at the chat here now at this point. That poll's up there on Twitter. We'll see what's happening. A lot of people are saying IQ. Verma saying neither. Some people are saying neither. Definitely this trade package here. We'll talk about how we're feeling about this, how people are feeling at this point. But some people are saying RJ. Some people are saying IQ. Because basically, Immanuel Quickley's on a longer-term deal, is more expensive, but was the centerpiece of the OG Anunoby trade. He was the guy that people got most excited about when that trade ended up happening. He was the guy people were most amped up about in terms of deals that were actually going to, excite a lot of Toronto Raptors fans. And it feels very split. It feels very down the middle from what we are seeing out here. We need our point guard and stuff. One thing I do want to say, if we do trade Immanuel Quickley, I have full faith. I have full faith in this man, Jamal Shead. The Shed heads will unite. Put in the chat right now if you are a Shedhead. Pull it in the chat and put if you are a Shedhead. But it would be very, very difficult. I think in a Kevin Durant situation, you'd have to deal away RJ just because you wouldn't have that PG spot. Immanuel Quickley is a better shooter, so that is one thing to factor in all of these discussions and all these trade scenarios and everything that's going on here now at this point. But basically, there is, we can take a look at the stats. We can take a look at the stats here too, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on here. Immanuel Quickley this season averaged 17.1 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 5.8 assists, shot 38% from the three-point line, 37% on corner threes. A bit better of a movement shooter than certainly RJ Barrett is, but a guy that it would be dealt with a lot of injuries last year, and RJ Barrett was our guy last season. That's the thing about it, right? Like, he was our most consistent scorer. He's our biggest impact player, and I know Vintage Pimpage will like this take. RJ Barrett was our best player last year, not Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes, our most talented, highest upside stuff, but with injuries, with consistency, with Scottie Barnes playing the back half of the season with his busted up wrist, RJ Barrett was our most consistent scorer and guy out there on the basketball court. So it's a really, really tough decision in any of these trade packages, but realistically, logistically, if we are going to really be diving into all this stuff that's, coming out there in the mix, coming out in, everything that's going on, I don't want this deal to happen. Like, I get it. I know how exciting it would be. I know how pumped everyone would be to have Kevin Durant out there in the mix, out there on this team. It's exciting to have, the jersey sales. Exciting to have KD, be our scorer, be our guy out there on this squad. But the big but with this, he is 37 years old. He doesn't want to be here. And we are giving up two of the guys we got in the OG and Adobe trade package that have been, frankly, I don't get why RJ Barrett's trade value is where it's at in terms of all the discourse, in terms of all the discussions. Desmond Bane just netted the Memphis Grizzlies 4 first-round picks, a first-round pick swap, and 2 rotation players. Yes, KCP's contract was bad, so that's a negative, that's a liability out there on your books. But Cole Anthony is a good basketball player. That is a haul for a guy that put up worse statistics than RJ Barrett last season. Yes, I would agree he's a better player, he's a better defender, better movement shooter, but RJ Barrett is not that far off. He is not that far off as a basketball player. And frankly, it is sickening to see the disrespect that's getting thrown the way of RJ Barrett. It's why I'm starting this movement, folks. Join this movement. Do not trade RJ Barrett. He's getting tossed around like chopped liver out here at all these trade discussions. I do not want to see RJ Barrett moved on. Right? Orlando Mendoza's coming in saying the shedhead stand up. We're getting all the graphics out here at this point. But I'm sickened. I'm sickened by all the discourse that RJ Barrett is the guy that should be moved on from. Like, it's, straight up for KD, straight up in these packages. That's the big thing. But I don't know. I don't want RJ Barrett dealt in these deals. But let's talk about this trade package, because I've talked a lot about this whole KD trade scenario, everything that's going on here. At this point, I've brought this up a lot. Now, I've been pretty neutral in terms of how I'm feeling about this trade, assuming that, in terms of this trade package, in terms of this trade haul, it's one of IQ or RJ, and then one of the 9th pick and Poeltl. You have to give up some value to get some value. KD's averaging 27 points per game last season. You have to understand, you have to make that stuff, okay? You have to give out some assets. You have to get your heart broken a little bit. My RJ Barrett jersey, I'm cool with that. But the thing about it is, if you deal away both, and we'll keep it on this side because apparently this is what Gambo was saying. If you deal away both Jakob Poeltl and the number 9 pick, you have no options there at the center position. Right now, we'd be left because Chris Boucher is a free agent as well. I know he's more of a 4, but he's a guy that could slide in the 5 position. We've seen him play the 5 when Masai Ujiri loves that, 6'9" vision. That should be a graphic. That 6'9" core group that we had for a long time. Okay? Jakob Poeltl's gone. The thought of Kalman Malawach is gone. You don't have Chris Boucher. You'd be running Jonathan Mobo, Scottie Barnes, or Brandon Ingram out there at that center position, or an Ulrich Shamshe. Again, Masai has the opportunity, he has the possibility of making more moves. It's not that's happening, you know what I mean? But we'd be in the same position we were in 2022, 2023, before we got Jakob Poeltl. We had an extremely talented group. I think a very underrated team. But Masai Ujiri, and a lot of people forget about this because they were roasting the 6'9" vision, they were roasting all this stuff that was going on. Basically, what happened was the Toronto Raptors in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics, the year Pascal Siakam didn't touch a ball for 3 months, that was really bad in the bubble. Okay? That team came out there in the postseason. It was a weird season. It was a lot of weird stuff. And they come in the next year. They're actually really, they have the Tampa season. Then the season after, 2022, they come out and face the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round of the playoffs. This young team shocks everybody. The lineup of Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scottie Barnes, a rookie Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and, Precious Achiuwa running R5, right? We didn't have a lot of options out there at that center position. We decided, and OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby was the de facto center. But how that came to be was in the bubble when Pascal Siakam was struggling. He wasn't playing that well. He wasn't, up to his usual standards. There's a lot of offense we needed to generate in that series. So what happened is Nick Nurse, who I think gets disrespected a lot now at this point, he was a phenomenal coach for us. As a tactician, phenomenal. As a people manager, less so. Nick Nurse against the Boston Celtics going down 0-2 decided to switch to the lineup of playing OG Anunoby at center during crunch time. And we had two centers on that roster. We had Marc Gasol and we had Serge Ibaka. That's what we had. That's what we ran with. That's what we rocked with. And frankly, that lineup completely changed the series. It flipped it all on its head. Okay? The Raptors came back and went to game 7, didn't it? And, Norman Powell, some clutch buckets, game 6. Fred VanVleet takes a step back 3 out there, game 6. It was, OG Anunoby's historic shot, all that stuff. But that came from the adjustment of playing OG Anunoby at center and running a small ball lineup to make up for Pascal Siakam really struggling out there on the offensive end, out there in the bubble. So, that offseason, a weird offseason, because it was COVID, it was what are we doing? It started December and stuff. The bubble was there at the end of the summer. The regular season started back up in December. So, what ended up happening is the Raptors went next season hey, Marc Gasol's really old. Should we pay him? Probably not. And he went to the Lakers. He was washed anyways. Masai Ujiri knew that these guys weren't able to run a full season that next year. Then Serge Ibaka on the team. Now, he was less washed, but a year later was pretty well washed. And essentially let him walk as well for $9 million to the LA Clippers. So we had no roster. We had Aaron Baines running the center position for this team next season. And we were just the 4th seed, the fifth seed out there in the Eastern Conference. So then we went down to Tampa. We're playing out of our home court. Things weren't right. We didn't have a center, and we tried to run this small ball unit. And essentially what happened is this Raptors team had this vision for a year and a half where there was some talent on the team. We see the talent out there right now. Bag them on all you want. I know you guys are out here in the chats no, yeah, Fred VanVleet. The amount of times, during that 2023 season, because I'm a Kyle Lowry guy. Whenever all the hype was on Fred VanVleet for years, I didn't buy it. Everyone's he's the next Lowry. I was okay, Fred's good, but he's not the next Lowry. But when everyone hated on Fred, I was Fred's good. He's not the worst player in the league. And because I had that take, the amount of folks out here in the comment section, I'm calling us out. I'm calling y'all out. The amount of people are coming out and be Ben, your boyfriend went 2 of 12 from the field today. Ben, your guy, I was getting grilled. As the only guy in Raptors media that didn't just absolutely trash on Fred VanVleet. But I digress. He's really good in the playoffs this year. Really, really good for the Houston Rockets in the playoffs this year. What's happening, Will? You the GOAT, sir. Will Walburn cooked me in a men's league basketball game here, so I'm giving him a shout out here on the stream. I got absolutely cooked. But I digress. Fred VanVleet's playing really good. Pascal Siakam is in the NBA Finals right now, and I want to talk about this a little bit as well. The fact that Pascal Siakam was single-handedly, maybe not, TJ McConnell went on a nice run, but in that fourth quarter, Pascal Siakam was absolutely dominant. He was absolutely cooking. He was absolutely unstoppable for the Indiana Pacers. He got subbed out by Rick Carlisle, which I get it, rest. They have these weird, but you got to keep him in. And he came back in and the ball wasn't passed to him. He got iced out. Despite being the best player on the court for the Indiana Pacers. But I'm moving away from my points. I'm moving in a lot of different directions here. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, heck, even Gary Trent Jr. was good at the playoffs for the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay? Even Gary Trent Jr. has been good in the playoffs for the Milwaukee Bucks. Scottie Barnes is on that team. Scottie Barnes is phenomenal. Right? That season. And that's not even the right animation. What are we doing here? That's the OG animations out there, the Ben Simmons reports. But the amount of Scottie Barnes awards we gave to Scottie Barnes back then, he's on another level. This team was talented. But we didn't have a center. We got cooked. We got cooked out there on the front line. The team was bad. That's just the reality of it. Okay? We got cooked out there in the front line. It couldn't sustain out there for a full season. That's what this team would be if we made a 10-minute cycle, a 10-minute rant. That's what this team would be if we deal away Jakob Poeltl and cannot acquire Common Malawach or another elite center out there in this team, in this league. That's just the reality of it. We would be that small ball. So, it's cool to run small ball lineups in spurts, but when it's all you got, when it's all you have, we've seen it. It doesn't work. You can have talent. It doesn't work. We don't even have an OG Anunoby that can properly play the center position for a wing guy, right? We can't even do that. So, I'm writing this off here. This is too absurd. This is too messed up. This is too crazy. This has to be a ploy for leverage. This cannot be Masai Ujiri's actual offer. This cannot be Masai coming out here and try. I know he's into it. I know he's out there for, hustling for a big fish. He's out there desperately trying to land a big fish. This can't be the offer. This can't be the offer that we end up making for Kevin Durant. It has to be a ploy. It has to be like, use this all stuff to get some assets back, to get the most out of these teams. It has to be something like that. Because if it is not, and we go into next season scraping for an Aaron Baines to run the center spot for 82 games for this team, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you agree, chat. Let me know if you agree. Yes, no. Do you want to see this move happen? Do you want to see this move happen here right now? We'll call it RJ Barrett. It doesn't matter. If you want to see Jakob Poeltl and Immanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett and a top 10 pick, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat here right now. Yes, sir, we are live. Ruels. Love the content. You're going to lose followers, the captions. This is one thing I'll say, too. While people are ranting, the titles are the titles, man. They fit, they match. I have 55 YouTube channels. I've tested all different titles. I've been on YouTube for 8 years. This is the only way to get viewership. So that's what's happening. We always deliver. We always deliver what's on them. No thanks button. What's happening? No thanks button. It's a no chance. No chance. Yes, make it happen. Summer Low saying, let's make it happen. Vintage Pippage is saying DeMarcus Cousins. The Suns pass on that offer. No way the Suns pass on. That's a phenomenal offer for the Phoenix Suns. That is a phenomenal offer for the Phoenix Suns. That's the reality of it. That is the reality of what's going on. It gives you flexibility after next season. That is one thing to bring up. So, I want to get your name right. The chat's moving too fast. Santo10 brings up a very good point. He brings up a very good point. Gives you flexibility. So this is one of the arguments I've seen on the quest for Kevin Durant. I'm going to keep playing this animation while we can. Essentially, the reason where this makes sense, if the Raptors are not interested in saving, in acquiring, keeping RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl long term, they understand the money situation, and they come into it and say, hey, the Toronto Raptors, we cannot move forward. We cannot move forward with this type of money on our books, especially with Scottie Barnes' contract coming into place, thinking in the future about a Gradey Dick contract extension stuff. You go all in on 1 year. You go all in on 1 year. If things go great, you re-sign Kevin Durant, we have a championship team. Let's go. If they don't, you get off of money. It's like a very exciting single year of Kevin Durant where maybe this team comes out to the mix. And if, it doesn't, then you just get off of your money problems that the Raptors kind of have jumped into. That is the argument for this. But there's no argument for putting the number 9 pick in this deal. That's where things get messy. And Jay Samuel's the same play, Boucher. Jay, I hate to say it, but Boucher is out right now. He's out right now, man. He's out right now. He's a free agent. He might be back, but we'll see. We'll see how things shake out here now at this point. We'll see how things shake out at this point. But I had a poll on Twitter. Follow Raptors Digest on Twitter if you haven't already. Let's see. At me if you go out here on Twitter. All right? Let's see what we got going. So who would you rather trade in an RJ package? Kind of fit what we had in the chat. 65% have said RJ Barrett. Let's get a screenshot of this so people can see. Let's get a screenshot of this so folks can see what's going on here now at this point. All right, let's see what I'm a wash streamer, so bear with me for my poor technical skills. Okay, so we have this rocking. This is the poll. This is the Raptors Digest poll that we have here right now. All right? Can you see that? Can you see the numbers? Can we see the numbers? We can't see the percentages. There we go. 65% said that they would rather see RJ Barrett dealt away than Immanuel Quickley in a Kevin Durant package. Do you guys agree with that sentiment? Yes, no. Also, shout out to Jack. A goat out there in the community here right now. Jack's over here, my guy. Appreciate you on all the videos. Commenting. You're the man, Jack. Throw a W in the chat for Jack. Appreciate the super chat. You're the man. But are we in agreement? Always a pleasure to have you in the chat. I just saw the super chat. I'm a bit disoriented trying to go through Twitter. I'm back on Twitter trying to get this stuff going. So I'm seeing some no's. In terms of if we are agreeing with this poll. As people are saying, who would you rather trade in a KD package? RJ is the guy that's getting brought out. New Evan Sideri tweet. Let's see. We'll break some news out here on the channel. And follow us on Twitter. If you're out here and we got some new followers. Let's go. I'll give shout outs. Orlando Mendoza, appreciate you. Number One Sports Fanatic, appreciate you. Harshdeep Aurora, appreciate you. Malcolm Musa, appreciate you. Kian, appreciate you. Appreciate everyone getting back on the Twitter grind. But what are we looking at here? So the Sun, okay, interesting development here. This is from Gambo as well. And, okay, a couple of tweets. We have some live breaking news. Live news coming in, folks. Live news coming in. Okay? A couple of reports. A couple of things happening here. I'm stalling to make sure my tech is good. I'm stalling to make sure things are rocking and rolling here now at this point. I think we got this wrong. Okay. First bit of news. This is the less exciting. Of the reports. This might be the maybe more exciting if you don't want KD. I'm dragging it into here. Okay. Let's get a different image up here so you guys can see. We'll get a weird picture of can I just hide this? Yeah, let's go. I don't even know if that looks better. Okay. So we have this report being brought up here so you guys can read it. The Suns view the Timberwolves as their best offer on the table right now for Kevin Durant. Minnesota's package would feature Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo, as well as potentially Rob Dillingham. Rob Dillingham here. Let me know in the chat here right now. Because frankly, if the Toronto Raptors are offering Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, and the number 9 overall selection, that absolutely smokes that deal out of the water, in my opinion. But I might be crazy. Let me know if you agree in the chat. I want to hear what you guys have to say right now. And again, I don't want this to be the offer. And this could be like the contradicting reports because we know that the front office in the NBA, Brian Gregory, the new GM of the Phoenix Suns, is not stupid. He is a bit of a nepo hire. He's friends with the owner, but he's not stupid. The Raptors package is much better. Yes or no? Yes or no? Rob Dillingham is cool. He barely played last season. DiVincenzo's cool, but like he had an up and down year. He's coming off the bench for the T-Wolves last season. And Rudy Gobert's Rudy Gobert. Like he's a good defender, but it's whatever. Anthony Savia is saying Evan Sari doesn't know anything. No, but he's an aggregator. Jonathan Gambaro or whatever knows stuff. Like this guy, so this is the reporter that trashed on this deal. John Gambadoro. John Gambadoro is one of the main insiders out there for the Phoenix Suns. He's like a Josh Lewenberg for the Phoenix Suns. That's who he is. Like Poeltl over Gobert, RJ over Rob, and Dante. Agreed. And the number 9 overall selection in a loaded NBA draft. So we all agree. We're all in agreement here that the Toronto Raptors offer is better than this offer. And this is what they're saying. It's the best deal. It's the best deal. So this is why the Toronto Raptors, I just can't believe that this is the actual offer. I can't believe that this is the actual offer. And it's not Evan Sideri is only talking out of his ass when it's like there's not sources. This John Gambadoro guy is the actual insider for the Phoenix Suns. Check out Suns Digest. You want the old details and all the KD situations and stuff. That's what's happening. Yeah, is our radio host that's on our cars every day to work. He's a guy that knows what's going in. Andy Cruz is out there in the chat. Okay, I'd like to hear Andy's thoughts as well. And Anthony, you are correct. He does talk a lot of BS sometimes, but you got to know when it's like BS and when he's sourcing someone and clicking the source and getting that stuff going. But I digress. I think we're all in agreement. The Raptors, if they want, have a better offer. If Masai Ujiri's crazy enough to make one of these trades go down, we have that offer. So that's that. But the more juicy, the Sideri tweet. It's not even a Sideri tweet, but he summarizes things well. He's like the me of Twitter. I hear some stuff. I don't hear enough stuff to like have credible insider reports. Maybe one day. I don't really care for that stuff though. But he's like Sideri's the me of Twitter. Okay. The Toronto Raptors odds to land Kevin Durant continue to rise. And again, I've been outspoken. I don't do a lick of gambling. I don't do any of that stuff. But these things are very important. Let me say this before we talk about the odd stuff. Because some people are like, Ben, favorites. Like, well, you're making stuff up with favorite stuff. It doesn't matter. Okay? The thing about the like odds, the DraftKings odds and all these things is you're going to get smoke. Like, I think genuinely, if I had to bet my life on whatever's going on here or whatever, I don't think the Toronto Raptors I would be shocked if Masai Ujiri's legitimately willing to part ways with Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and a top 9-10 selection. Like, if that's the actual offer, that's crazy. But these things can be interpreted, they can be skewed, they can be talked about for leverage, they can be brought up in all of these circumstances, they can be brought up in all of these different scenarios. And there's always some seed of truth into it. That's why we always cover all the rumors, all the reports, all that stuff. But these types of reports are like jockeying for leverage out there in the media to change the narrative, to make teams bid higher, to do all these types of things. That's what can be done by all these reports, like this one that just came from John Gambadoro. But these odds, these things here that people are putting money on, right? You're investing money and like the lines have to adjust based off things there. There's insiders across the league that have info that bet big dollars on this type of stuff, and there's no incentive to lie about it. There's no like, hey, this is I'm putting all my money on this side, so just like the reports, yes, you're going to get some smoke. And the Raptors are known for putting out smoke and stuff. The betting odds is where, this gets into a situation of, hey, there's no incentive to lie on it. It's how people are expecting these things to actually play out. And the Toronto Raptors, the past few days, have moved from plus 2,000 odds, so like a 2% chance, if that, to near favorites, while every other team is keeps receiving higher odds. That's kind of what that's the scenario. That's the update. That's what we're seeing in this entire situation. That's what's going on in regards to what is happening with this Kevin Durant stuff. Now, again, it could be the smoke getting to people's biases, so people are putting a bunch of money on the Raptors on DraftKings, so it's not a surefire thing. But there's less likely to be lies when there's money involved. And it's not one of these different things. So right now, again, this just broke live. This is something that was tweeted out seconds ago. The Toronto Raptors, 55 minutes ago. So how long am I streaming? Right before I started streaming. So that's what it is. Missed that as we started streaming. But the Raptors' odds have continuously started to increase. It's a crazy stuff. It's a crazy situation. Yeah, the webcam's out. I tried yapping to get that stuff going. Steve the Ultimate Collector saying, give the man some likes. Appreciate you, Steve. Doing my job better than I am. Plugging different stuff. This stream, I've mostly been plugging the Twitter. I'm back on Twitter. The OGs know. I'm 25 years old here now at this point. I'm an old man. I'm Unk. People are calling me Unk on my basketball team. What the heck has happened to me, bro? But I was 14 years old yapping on Twitter. That's what Raptors Digest was. Over a decade ago, I was yapping at Brooklyn Nets fans. And I was pretty big on Twitter, like back before sports Twitter was big and all that stuff. And I retired. I retired from Twitter. I said YouTube is my love. It still is. But we got some interns now. I got the bug again. I'm making tweets. So follow us on Twitter because my ego's down because I'm not getting any likes. So follow me on Twitter and I'll give you a shout out. I will give you a big shout out. Every single one of you. You don't have to, but I appreciate every single one of you. But the KD stuff. Because there's more topics we're going to be discussing in the stream. But of course, the KD situation, the KD stuff is what we're bringing up. It's what we're really yapping about. If this deal goes down, if this deal ends up happening, if this ends up being the package that is the one for Kevin Durant, I just want to see it in the chat first. W or L. If it is Jakob Poeltl, Immanuel Quickley, and a top 10 selection in this, so the number 9 overall pick, is that a W or an L for the Toronto Raptors? Let me know. Let me know out here in the chat. I want to know if this is a W or an L for the Toronto Raptors. And as we're going, as I see the W's or the L's rolling, got a super chat from, let me get the animation up. There we go. From Music Ferret, appreciate you. Appreciate every single one. Appreciate every single one of you out there. Wow. Finish my heart. Appreciate Music Ferret, but appreciate every single one of you. Well, that's a lot of L's. That is a lot of L's. Greg Jones in with the big W. But people are saying that's a lot of L's. A few W's creeping in. Square E is saying W or L either way. Rue L's is saying Giannis or nothing. I think it might be smart to hold out for Giannis. But it is a very, very difficult situation. Like, I don't think it's going to cripple the franchise or anything. I think next season will be very exciting if the Toronto Raptors come out and, get back in the mix. If they come out and, get Kevin Durant, they go in this year. Like, next year is going to be super fun. Like, positive, negatives, there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff. Adding Brandon Ingram and Kevin Durant to this team with Scottie Barnes, that will be absolutely insane. That is something that will be one of the most wild teams to watch. Not just like Raptors teams. That'll be one of the more wild teams to watch in like the past decade. That would be one of the more random teams with the more random squads out there at this point. So it would be exciting for next year without a doubt. I think we'll be very good. For the future, it's a massive risk. And we're losing some assets. That's what sucks in regards to that whole situation. So that's what's going on in regards to the Kevin Durant stuff. But we have a lot more to talk about. Out here on this field. We'll probably yap about some KD stuff. I'm going to get some questions at the end of this. But the next bit of discourse, the next bit of chat, and actually, I lied to you. I lied to every single one of you. I'm going to run through the latest bit of KD news because I've just been more on a tirade than I am on the actual video side and stuff. But KD is good for business for I'll be candid. As someone that yaps about the Raptors like 3 times a day out there on YouTube, content will be phenomenal if we get Kevin Durant. Content will be crazy. Will the team be good? I don't really know. But content, boy, I won't be asking for we won't have this goal here. This goal here that you see moving up. This subscriber count won't be at like, hey, let's get to 38,000 subscribers. We will be going for like 100,000 subscribers if we get Kevin Durant out here. That's what I'm saying. So that's just what I'm going to be saying here now at this point. So let's, again, I care more about the Raptors winning and not sacrificing their future than I do actual views. And like the views are going down. Like Ben cares about views. Like what are we doing? The sub count's going down. But like, I don't want to see any of this. But basically, this team will be really nice. But I lied. Let's run through the KD updates. So, update that broke down right before we came out is essentially that a Kevin Durant trade seems unlikely at this point. Again, coming from Gambo. So that's the first point. That's one of the first things to discuss and one of the first things to talk about. So the Heat were favorites this morning. They don't seem to be interested in dealing where. So that's, where the line ends for a Kevin Durant trade to the Miami Heat. Maybe they switch their tone. Things have been very fluid. Things have been very, very fluid, folks. Very, very fluid over the past little while. That's the reality of the situation here. So we'll keep you up to date with all of the fluidity on this team. That's update 1. The offers from Kevin Durant for KD from Miami, from Houston, San Antonio aren't what the Suns want them to be. So that's another thing to bring up. It's another thing to discuss. The Suns aren't getting the offers that they really want. So that is something to deal with. That is what it is. We talked about that. The Toronto Raptors are okay. So this is let's see if we have any. Okay, we got some other juice here. Moving on from KD. I'll play this animation one last time to get a nice transition because there's a new report. I'll have a video on this probably up tomorrow. In regards to the future outside of KD, this next topic, this next bit of discussion, bit of discourse. But it's a plan B option, so to speak, if the Raptors are unable to land Kevin Durant. And that is one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA. It's Malik Monk. Now, before I talk about this, someone's saying KD to T-Wolves. Alarm. They said alarm and KD to T-Wolves. Am I getting baited? Am I getting baited here? The Suns don't want Jalen Green. Okay. That's a good offer, though. Okay. I think I'm baited. Some fake news. I got hit with some fake news. Let's break down this report. We're getting a little all over the place here. Retention's dying. The Toronto Raptors are expected to show interest in Malik Monk if they fail to land Kevin Durant. This is coming from Clutch Points, I believe. I saw this sent to me from Clutch Points and NBA Central aggregated it. NBA Central does really nice formatted tweets, so we always run there. If a trade with the Phoenix Suns for Kevin Durant doesn't end up happening, league sources tell Clutch Points that they will have other targets in mind. The Raptors have demonstrated interest in acquiring Kings guard Malik Monk in a potential trade, with that interest dating back to at least February's trade deadline. Okay. This is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff in regards to this Malik Monk and Kevin Durant and Malik Monk Toronto Raptors situation. Verm is yawning at Malik Monk. Malik Monk is very, very good. He can play make. He's an electric scorer. He can score it well. The question is fit. And what the Raptors would have to give up. I'm outspoken. Unless it's a superstar, we keep RJ Barrett. There will be riots out here in the chats of Raptors Digest if we trade RJ Barrett for someone that isn't a superstar. There will be riots. So I don't want RJ Barrett in a Malik Monk deal. However, after talking to Chris Gallagher of Knicks Digest, doing a little yapping, a little research myself. Firstly, the Sacramento Kings are interested in landing a long-term option at the point guard position this year. That's been widely reported. It's been brought up. They're interested in Trae Young, John Morant, all these different names, Marcus Smart. Immanuel Quickley fits the bill of someone that can be, a cornerstone at the point guard position. He's a starting point guard in the NBA. The new GM of the Sacramento Kings is Scott Perry. Scott Perry is a guy that, frankly, he drafted Immanuel Quickley. He was a big fan of Immanuel Quickley, always spoke extremely high of Immanuel Quickley. He drafted him for the New York Knicks during his tenure. He is a big, big fan of Immanuel Quickley. Could we see some sort of framework of Malik Monk coming to the Toronto Raptors, IQ going to the Kings, the Raptors figuring something else out at the point guard position, maybe even a Jamal Shead? We saw Shead come out and absolutely play his way out of, play Davion Mitchell's way out of town. Could Jamal Shead play IQ's way out of town? Could he? I don't know. A little too early there. Steve is saying Quick's contract is a flaming turd, though. It is, but it isn't. It might be. But it isn't just yet. There's not enough proof to go out there at that point. So maybe there's an option. And that leads us. So before I dive into that, would you want to see a trade package that is centered around Immanuel Quickley going to the Kings and back to the Toronto Raptors, Terry Rozier? Would you want to see that happen? Yes or no out there in the chat. Let me know. Yes or no, would you want to see Immanuel Quickley to the Kings and Malik Monk back to the Toronto Raptors? Yes or no? Let me know. Let me know out there in the comment section as I give shout-outs to people that have followed Raptors Digest on Twitter. A few people following. So we got new people. I don't know if it's in order. Can I refresh this? KP. I appreciate you for following Raptors Digest on Twitter. Appreciate you. I look back at the chat. Hard nose for that deal. Seeing Quickley for Poole. I mean, I think they'd accept it. I think they would accept it. But, that's that. So, I'm in agreement. I don't think that's a great deal, but I think Malik Monk is underrated, but the Raptors don't really need. We have RJ Barrett. We have Jacoby Walter. We have Gradey Dick. We have so many guys. Ochai Agbaji. We have so many guys to play that shooting guard position. We don't need Malik Monk to do it. But if we deal away Immanuel Quickley, there's another option at point guard, folks. There's another option for this team at that point guard position. As the Raptors have a plus 1,000 odds to land Terry Rozier straight from prison, just ahead of the Guangdong Tigers, behind Olympia Milano, behind any G League affiliate, behind any Big Three team. The Toronto Raptors starting point guard next season could be Terry Rozier. It could be Scary Terry, the ghost of Scary Terry. Why on earth are the Toronto Raptors named in this? Absolute. I don't know why. I think they know. Raptors Digest is going to aggregate it. He's going to come straight from prison. He's going to come straight from jail. And he's going to play for the Toronto Raptors. He's going to be like that Adam Sandler movie. He's going to come out and get that thing rocking. Him and Jonte Porter are going to be our 1-2 punch off the bench. Straight from prison. They're gonna be betting on the Toronto Raptors. I don't sports bet. But my God, would I be downloading one of these betting apps and throwing the under on Terry Rozier and Jonte Porter if they're on this team? I would be a millionaire. I would be a billionaire. I'd throw the life savings. I'd throw the YouTube ad revenue. Jay's Digest ad revenue straight to the Terry Rozier unders. I'd be rich. I'd split it with the chat. Every single one of you, we'd be rich. The Terry Rozier unders out there on this Raptors team next season. High key, the least crazy report we've seen today with all this KD madness. Terry Rozier being a Toronto Raptor. Yes or no in the chat? Yes or no in the chat? You riding the wave with me and betting the Terry Rozier unders next season? Yes or no? Raptors Digest community, ride the wave. Ride the wave. All in on Terry Rozier. Let's trade Jakob Poeltl, RJ, and this movement is just for superstars. No, just no for superstars. We'll trade RJ Barrett for Terry Rozier. We'll make that happen. We'll make that happen, folks. Anyways, I appreciate every single one of you. We got lots of content coming, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I appreciate every single one of you that's tuned into the videos. 314 people in here. See that button. Let's see if we can get it to 37,900. Appreciate everyone that's tuning in the vids, getting some stuff going. You guys are the best. I love streaming. I love streaming. I miss it. I'm becoming less washed. My tech skills. I was late starting this one off, but appreciate all you folks that are coming out here in the chat and getting stuff rocking. Appreciate Chuck in there. You're shed head like me, Chuck. Chuck is high. You're shed head like me. But appreciate every single one of you. Lots of videos coming. Probably more streams. Let's get all that stuff going. Anyways, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.
Raptors Digest percussion ignites. From the north, we bring the might. Clawing day, full of pride. Tune in now, join the ride.
Subscribe to the Raptors Digest. It's good for you.